Hey guys, well, it's been a minute. I know you guys have probably been waiting for this video to come out for a while, and well, let's just say that there was multiple different ways I was going to go about posting these two videos, and I figured I just might as well post them together, make them one, because, well, there wasn't much content to be made at the Players PTQ and at the US Open PTQ, so I figured I would just put together what happened in those two events and give you guys my thoughts and views on things, and then also where I'm at heading into Anderson this upcoming week for the Indiana Classic PTQ. Let's just start with the Players. That came a week right after the RPI out in Vegas, and I was really behind the 8 ball coming into that tournament. We just got done driving Friday and Saturday. We were in the car for 36 hours trying to get back for a wedding. And Sunday, I didn't get much rest before we had to drive 11 hours back out Monday morning to Wichita. And it was just one of those where, like, I wasn't in the best spot mentally to bowl that tournament. And on top of that, we bowled on a lane condition and an oil pattern that I was unfamiliar with. Or I shouldn't say the pattern, I should say the lane machines and the oil we were using just provided a different type of lane play that I was just not prepared to play. And I've never experienced it before. So a great learning experience there to the Players. Although I didn't really throw it the best, I was able to then make some great progress game 7, game 8 of that PTQ and learn some things that I could store in the memory bank for later. But when we left there, I wasn't really too beaten up because I knew I was not really in the best place mentally or physically to bowl that PTQ. But then we head into the US Open, and this is where things kind of got hard for me, and just kind of where the swing tightened up a little bit. After the whole trip out at the RPI and out to the Players PTQ, and everything starting to pile up financially, and then understanding that I could be gone for another week and I only get so much time off of work that's paid, my mind kind of started to run a little bit. And heading into the US Open PTQ, I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to perform, because I'm like, you've got to make this happen. You got to be able to take care of yourself. Don't ruin your job. Just a lot of different things. And so when we went to the PTQ for the US Open, it was probably one of the most disappointing performances I think I've had in a long, long time. It was really bad. The lane play was how I would want them to be. They opened up, I could get left, get soft, hook the ball, and I just threw it really, really bad. I did not capitalize on good pairs, and I did not minimize. I did not salvage the bad pairs. There we go. And it was a rough day. It was a very rough day, and I actually had a chance to still run down the number the last 2 games. I stone 9'd in the 10th frame, first ball 10th frame of game 7 to only shoot 240 when I could have shot 260, and then game 8 I threw it phenomenal for 220. I had an opportunity to shoot 250, 60, and ended up missing the number by 20 for the US Open PTQ, and I was pretty distraught after that one. I was pretty beat up. I've put so much pressure on myself to perform for many different reasons. One, because I have so many people who have put so much time into me and what I do. I feel like I owe it to them to perform at the best level, at the highest level, and to make something out of this crazy bowling career. And I also put a lot of pressure on myself, because I feel like if I'm going to dedicate all this time and effort to this sport, I should be able to go out and perform when the times are presented. And I have not done that, and it's very disappointing. But I will also tell you guys this too. The reason that hasn't quite happened the way I'd like it to is because I've also had a different perspective on life. I look at things in a very different lens now than what I did when I was 21, 22. I see my opportunities come in a different light now. I have a great job, and I sometimes feel a little immature and reckless by running off and bowling these events. However, they are great to me, and they have allowed me this time off, and so I shouldn't really feel too guilty. But in the back of my mind, I do think about, well, what about work? I should be taking care of things there. On top of that too, Elizabeth and I are trying to buy a house. We want to settle down and hopefully start a family. And every time I go bowl one of these events, we slowly keep setting ourselves further and further back from getting a house and moving forward with other things here in life. And I kind of feel guilty about that too, because I feel like I'm taking away from things that she wants to, and then that makes me feel even worse. And on top of that, I have put so much time into this that I feel like I have to give this my shot, or have to give it a shot, and I have to give it all that I can. And also all the people who have put time and effort into me and my bowling, I feel like I owe it to them to go out and bowl these events and try to make something happen. But what happens then in my brain is I put so much pressure on myself that it's impossible to overcome. And I've had to have a sit down with Elizabeth and just talk through what we're going to do the rest of this year, because I don't want to put us in a bad situation financially just because I want to go out and pursue a crazy dream. And I also don't want to throw away an opportunity to chase my dream. And so we've had to sit down and just figure out how we're going to do this. And I'm much better mentally now heading into next week than I was heading into the U.S. Open. We've got a plan, and we've kind of started to figure things out. But you know, it's crazy that back when I was 21, 22, this would be a no-brainer. Like I wouldn't even think twice about all the stuff that I'm doing. It wouldn't bother me in the least bit. But now that I have a start of a family and I have goals outside of bowling, sometimes it feels a little reckless to just run wild and go bowl all the time, but it's still my dream. It's still something I've worked really hard on, and I'm going to finish this thing out one way or another, and I'm going to keep putting the time in and seeing where we can get, because I do feel like I have the ability to compete at the highest level. I just need to go out and just relax and do it. So that is where we're at. A lot of mental demons, a lot of things going back and forth in the head, but that's okay, because for this state that I'm in life, I wouldn't want it any other way. I'm glad that my priorities are where they are, even if other people don't agree. I have the best homestead in the world when it comes to my wife and when it comes to my family and everybody around me, and it's not worth losing to me. But the good news is they all support me, and they're all behind me, and they want me to go out and pursue this at my fullest, and that is what we're going to do. So now let's get into what we're doing here for Anderson. Mentally, I feel better. We made some changes. We shortened some things up. We made the physical game just a little bit simpler, a little bit easier to repeat, a little bit less movement, and just I put myself in places where I feel more comfortable and that I can feel like I can get in the same spot more often. I went, and also the first thing I did after we got back from the U.S. Open is I went and got a gym membership again. A lot of people see me work out in my spare bedroom here in the apartment, and that's great. But I was really focused on getting back into shape again and becoming an athlete again. So Elizabeth and I went and got gym memberships the first week back, or the first day back after the U.S. Open, and her and I go now every night, and I'm dedicated to get back in there, be an athlete, be strong, be powerful, and to go out and be able to compete like a top tier athlete. That is where I'm at now. And as we head into Anderson, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm medium about it. I'm not super pumped, and I'm not worried. I'm just kind of in the middle. If I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't. If we make it, we'll go out and make the best of it. If we don't make it, I get to go to work on Tuesday. And I really love my job. So really, there's not much that can go wrong. So that's what happened, those two events. A lot of things have changed for me mentally, for the perspective of things. And the Lord has blessed me so much with what I have around me, and just to have the support and just everybody who just stands behind me and says, you got this. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed. So now let's go out and put in a good performance at the PTQ in Anderson. See if we can't make something happen, have some fun, hopefully make some memories, and then let's get ready for this upcoming regional season, because that starts up soon too. But yeah, there you guys go. That's what happened, those two events. Hopefully we can turn things around here in Anderson and make the best of the rest of this year. So see you guys there.